Hello, I'm Nick, the nurse. Today we're going to be talking about the use of the therapeutic nurse tool consistency in helping develop trust within the therapeutic nurse to patient relationship. Consistency is key, as the old adage goes, and nowhere is consistency more important than in the mental health nursing setting. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you want to develop trust with a new patient or new client. I hate the word client. I like the word patient. I'm not going to a bank or to a hospital. But let's say that you have this patient, okay? And this patient was not trusting you, and you had a really hard time developing a trusting relationship and getting that patient to open up to you. What are some of the techniques that you could employ? Well, one of them would be to provide consistency. When people provide consistency, eventually people will come around and expect that person to be there, and they'll expect it to they'll kind of lean on them as a crutch, or they'll utilize them. I remember an example. I know it's kind of off topic, but I was watching the Food Network. I have a little bit of a belly and I am a foodie, but my wife and I watch the Food Network, and I was watching the life story of the cook who always cooks with butter, Paula Deen. And one thing that Paula Deen did is she actually had her and her sons, they had a catering business that sold sandwiches to people at local businesses. And at first, what happened is the people, when they went around to sell sandwiches, the people didn't buy the sandwiches. They just didn't want them. But what happened was Paula Deen was smart, and just like a good nurse, she understood that consistency was key. And what she did is she went around every single day at noon, or whatever time it was that she went around, and she showed up and offered to sell people sandwiches. Eventually, what happened is they stopped showing up, I guess, or something like that. And people expected them to be there with the sandwiches. So they kind of grew to depend on that, to trust that those people would be there. And eventually they sold a lot of sandwiches, and she's probably worth $500 million now. The moral of that story is that consistency is key. Now, if we act the same way with our patients, for example, by telling them that we're going to be there at 3 p.m. or at 8 p.m. or whatever, we're going to be there at that time. If we say that we're going to be somewhere at a particular time and we're not there, we've severed trust. We've broken the therapeutic nurse relationship, and it's hard to really regain trust once it's been lost. So it's really important to be consistent in an attempt to foster trust and further communication with the patient. So remember, consistency is key in developing a therapeutic nurse relationship, particularly during the orientation and working phases when you're trying to develop trust and working through that relationship. My name's Nick the Nurse. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.